heating up. Yeah. I mean, 20 games, nearly 2 years. Did it feel like it was bound to end at some point?
I mean, again, there's no way to win every game in your whole, going forward. It's impossible. So, of course, it's inevitable. It's just how you do it. I mean, tonight we just came out. We're super beat up across the board, and it just doesn't help in these big moments. So, I mean, we just got out coached. We got out executed. We played three phases of the game terribly. It just wasn't. There's nothing good about what happened tonight. I mean, there's not. So, like I said, where I would have maybe gave the coaches a day off. We're going to go to work. We're going to look at this roster. We're going to make sure that we've got, like I said, we've got the right people in the right places. We've got to look at what injuries we have. A lot more guys banged up. Like I said, this is the hard part, how I like to do things, which is keep all these players from training camp all the way to the end of the season. And this is why some of these other coaches, they bring in these waves of guys throughout the season. And I just don't like doing that, but definitely going to have to take a look at the roster. We're just so beat up. There's definitely going to have to be some changes made. So I will be in the office first thing in the morning. We'll go through the roster with a fine tooth comb. We're going to have to make some changes. There's just too many beat up guys.
Obviously, they pushed you, right down to the wire when you guys played last month out there. Is there something, especially offensively, that they do that's a tough matchup for you guys right now?
I just think we just played poorly. We came out flat, and once you let a team get a bunch of momentum, it's hard to stop them. And we just never broke that momentum, consistently. And that's what happens when you give some people, again, you just got to remember, just beating us is the most special thing that anybody's going to do. We're on a 20-game winning streak, so it's not hard to give somebody the momentum and want to beat us. They took it, and again, hats off to them. Their coaches, they did a great job. Their players did a great job. But this is not, like I said, this isn't some bad football team. They have a bunch of studs on their team. It just we just didn't match up well, and we just didn't play very well.
How big was the swing of momentum at the end of the first quarter? You guys are driving, trying to get back 17-7 at that point. Look like you were trying to get one play and beat the clock, and just Sam couldn't handle the snap.
Yeah, I don't really think it was on him. I don't think it ever even touched his hands, which is just like I said, it's just disappointing. We just did not play well. Again, just every part of the game. Just like I said, I've got to go look at the film tonight and tomorrow morning and just kind of see. It's never as good as you think, it's never as bad as you think. But I like I said, we just played so poorly. I mean, we poorly executed. Sam had tons of pressure. Sam got hit way too many times. This was a total team loss. I mean, we got out coached, outplayed, out executed. It just is an embarrassing night for the Firebirds, and we've got a lot to work on.
Kind of thing that you can not like you said, not spin it as a positive, but was this something this team needed in terms of a wake up call?
I hate even the sounds of that you need to lose to get better and no, but like I said, just that is a wake up call now because we got beaten every phase of the game. So that lets us know we're not as good as we think we are. And so just that goes for the whole team. We'll dial it in tomorrow. Players get the days off. Coaches will work all day. Sunday we'll get right back to work. We got a full week. I mean, the next game could be for home field advantage. So, there's tons to play for. We obviously have a great football team, a great staff. We just, like I said, it's tough to know that we lost in every single phase of the game tonight.
I wanted to ask you a couple of specific things. Getting down 23-7, I know you brought Ryan Williams in and you wanted to do more in the running game, and kind of did that change the game plan at that point when you get down? I mean, 16
sure.
is easier than it is, in other leagues, but
yeah, sure. I mean, our clock, the way we do it, it runs the whole time. So, you can't, we wanted to kind of up tempo. We knew we were down, and like I said, it quickly started to get away from us, and at that point, you really got to throw the ball downfield quite a bit.
Malik Henry had 5 touchdowns. He's obviously a great quarterback. The defensive back, I think, struggled against some of the bigger receivers. Tell me about that kind of matchup and what you're seeing on that.
I don't know. I got to watch the film, but he was getting hit, a lot by our defensive front. He was just throwing the ball up. We couldn't make a play, and it was really disappointing. So yeah, I don't think it was necessarily anything crazy that they were doing. He was literally getting hit, bombing the ball up, and they were just making all the plays. So they wanted it more than we did.
At points in the game, Kadir Shepard goes out with an injury, I think, after he got head-to-head. Dwayne Brown, I think, was out there at the end. Talk about some of those guys, and just losing those guys. Maybe it doesn't change anything, but just losing those kind of leaders.
Yeah, like I said, we play the toughest schedule every single year. I request it, and this is the good and bad of it is we have been incredibly beat up through this middle part of the season. The bye week didn't help us very much. We came back. Most of the guys that were banged up stayed banged up. We're at that crisis point of the guys that are beat up. We may have to move on from some of them. That's where we're at.
Special teams, I thought, it was a pretty big thing. Their kicker had like I think 3 deuces, a couple early on like that, and Evan struggled a little bit as well. Just talk about special teams and then a kick return for touchdown. They had as well. So just talk about special teams a little bit.
Yeah, just disappointing. We start out with again just not the kicks that we had planned for. Obviously missed every single extra point to a point we just said forget it. We're going to just start going for 2 the rest of the game. No, it's just a total disappointment. Giving up a kick, just everything that could go wrong went wrong tonight. And so, like I said, we just got out coached and outplayed tonight.
How can this team bounce back next week against Nashville?
I mean, again, of course, we'll be ready to go. I mean, we have a great football team. We've got a great staff. It's not like we won't be ready to play next week. It just, like I said, we just got some things to clean up. We've got some personnel to obviously look at. I mean, we're just so beat up right now. It's one of those times of the year. So we're going to have to figure out. We'll watch the film, and the guys that are just too beat up to give us, at least 90%. We're going to have to move on for some guys. All right. Thank you.